I made three gigantic mistakes when setting up my first Airbnb that cost me thousands of dollars and almost made me quit. I sucked at negotiating, I didn't automate anything, and I did not have a mentor. And that is why I'm going to go over those mistakes. That way you don't make the same ones today. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is, I think it's my first actual dedicated Airbnb video, which is long overdue. But man, I think part of it was I was kind of embarrassed by some of the mistakes I'd made and just how bad I was doing. But you know what? We only learn from our mistakes. We grow. That's part of it. You gotta shift your minds to mistakes or learning points, and they help you move forward so you can be better. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So the very first mistake I made when launching my Airbnb and even setting it up was price negotiation, which in Airbnb, when you are negotiating your lease and the terms of the lease, that is one of the biggest things you can do. And whether you are starting your first Airbnb unit or your 100th Airbnb unit, your ability to negotiate that price and the terms of your lease will make or break your ability to be profitable. Or at least it will make it easier or harder to be able to be profitable. I found that out the hard way. I guess I should start with saying that there's two ways to do Airbnb. You can either buy the property and list it on Airbnb yourself, do it that way. The way that I'm doing it, because I don't really have the capital to buy properties, I do what's called rental arbitrage. It's basically a glorified sublease of an apartment, of a house, whatever it is. So what you have to do is, when you're doing rental arbitrage, you have to be a skilled negotiator when it comes to your lease. So mine, it sucks, but it is what it is. Don't make the same mistake I did. But when I was researching starting an Airbnb and rental arbitrage, everybody was saying the hardest thing to do was to get a landlord to say yes to allowing you to do Airbnb. And so I'm sitting here and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this thing. I've got to get a lease. So that was my first thing, was just getting a landlord to say yes. It's crazy. I think I called 3 or 4 apartment complexes and I got somebody to say yes. Like, boom. I was like, that was so easy. Why'd they make it so hard? The hard part was, for me at least, the price negotiation. Since I had heard about how hard it was and how long it would take to get a landlord to say yes to allowing me to do it, when I got that yes, I was like, sweet. I was like it was almost like my brain had kind of checked out a little bit. But so I hate to admit this, but so the place that I ended up going with, it was the rent, I want to say it was $975 on Zillow is what it was listed for. And when I called the landlord to get it all set up, I don't know if he was acting or he said his partner had some drawbacks. Knowing what I know now, it was probably a tactic, maybe not, but I mean, that's just part of the game. But so he's like, let us think about it. And so he came back and he's like, would you be willing to come up on rent $200? And I was like, in my head, I was like, don't do it. But yes came out of my mouth. And I signed the lease. So I ended up paying $11.75 a month, with no rent concessions, no deposit concessions, nothing. And to kind of show you what difference that makes, and if you don't know what concessions are, so a lot of times in this situation, you're able to get like a month free or a couple weeks free or get your deposit waived or lowered. I didn't do any of that, which it sucks, but now I know. I need to figure out how to do that the more you know thing, and just, the more you know. But yeah, so to kind of show you the difference that it can make, so if I'll just kind of go over my numbers right now. So having that rent at $11.75, utilities and stuff don't cost a whole lot. You can factor in about $300-$400 depending on the size of the place. So all in, I'm in for about $1,600-$1,700 a month, as opposed to $1,400-$1,500, which it may not seem like a big difference, but after I had gotten some strategy and stuff in place, after 5 months of losing tons of money, I had finally gotten to where my occupancy rate was way up, like in the 80-90% range in January and February, which are the slowest months. So my price was low, but I was completely booked. So it was helping me at least break even. So I was making, I think revenue for January was right around $1,900, and that includes the cleaning fees and stuff. So with the paying my cleaners, I think I ended up January short $80, which is a lot better than I had been doing, because I didn't have a single guest in December, not a single one. So I was stuck paying that $1,600-$1,700 right out of my pocket. But the thing is, rent concessions, none of that would have changed December, but January I would have profited at least $200. So that just shows you the big difference there. And you may not think $200 is a lot in 1 month, but that's another $200 you'd be making every month, which on one unit, that's $2,400 a year. On 5 units, you're over 10 grand a year that you're missing out on. So when you were first looking into setting up an Airbnb and you want to do rental arbitrage, price negotiation, rent concessions, get that rent down, get them to give you a month free, no deposit, anything that you can do to make your bottom line a little bit better, it'll change the ballgame for you. And even if you're buying property, you need to be able to negotiate price on the house, because the lower your house payment is, the more profitable you can be. So mistake one that you do not want to make is not negotiating the price. The second mistake that I made setting up my Airbnb was automation. There are so many systems and softwares out there that you can automate literally every process of running your Airbnb, whether it's just a couple or you have a whole business based on it. Automation and systems is what separates Airbnb as a hobby and as a multi-million-dollar business. Without automation and systems in place, you'll be running around like a chicken with your head cut off. That is exactly what I was not doing. I did not have automation. I was that chicken with my head cut off. And it almost led me to be completely burnt out and just kind of done with the whole idea of Airbnb. I was ready. By the end of December, I was like, I'm done with this. I am done. But there are three main softwares that I use to automate pretty much everything right now, even just with one unit. Because the best thing you can do is start with your first couple units, and then you're able to already have those systems in place. As you grow, it makes it a whole lot easier to scale. The 3 systems that I use to automate my Airbnb, number 1 is Price Labs. Price Labs is a software that automates your pricing. You have all these different rules that you put in, it takes into effect. occupancy in the area of hotels, other Airbnbs, takes into account events going on, time of year, whole bunch of stuff. And it helps you adjust your price automatically for you. You choose a base price, you set the rules, and it'll adjust it for you. And it completely changed the ballgame for me. It took my occupancy from 20 to 30% up to 80, 90%. The second automation system that I use is called Guesty. It can automate a whole bunch of stuff. I use it to automate my listing. So like description, photos, that sort of deal, and then it automates my messaging for me as well. I have templates that I use, and it sends those to guests automatically. That way it takes that part out of my hands, and it's as hands off as possible. If a guest does send a message, I do have to respond to it still, but the booking message, a check-in message, I have a check up message, a check out message, that sort of deal. So I don't have to worry about thinking, oh, I have a guest checking, I need to send them a message. So it does that for me, which is awesome. It also has a feature in it where it helps boost your listing. What it'll do is it'll move like one picture around or change your price by $1 up or down, and that helps with the Airbnb algorithm to help push your listing up higher on the list. So don't do what I did. Don't wait to automate things. When you've set up your very first listing, automate as much as you possibly can, and you will be so grateful that you did. The third mistake that I made, and this is probably the biggest one, was not finding a mentor. If you are okay sitting around for months, possibly years, pulling your hair out, trying to figure out how to run your business, any kind of business, and don't find a mentor, but if you want to speed up your business and speed up your success timeline and reduce the headache, then find a mentor that is already figuring it out and has already been through the dark valleys, and let them teach you the path to success. My biggest mistake was probably, I don't know if it was pride or ego or whatever it was, but it was thinking that I could do this without a real teacher. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos. I call it, I'm good, I got this. But that was my biggest mistake. And if I could do it all over again, I would have taken some of the money I'd saved to start up my business and use that to get a mentor first. Because the mentor that I did end up using, I paid a little bit for, but it would have been made back within 1 month of Airbnb if I had just done it first. A mentor, you have to vet them, make sure that they are really who they say they are, that they've been through the stuff that they say they have. It's not easy. There's a lot of fake mentors out there just trying to make a quick buck off of you. But you really have to do your research. As sad as it is, you do. But really do that research, because it is so worth it. It is so worth it. Why give up on something that you're passionate about and that you want to do just because you're having a hard time figuring it out? Let somebody teach you the ropes of it all. That way you can avoid those big potholes as you first start your road to success. So that is the 3 biggest mistakes that I have made when setting up my first Airbnb. And now that I've done it and experienced them, I'm not going to make those same mistakes again. I can already tell you that. So my listings that will be coming in the near future will be a lot better, a lot easier, and a lot more profitable than the one I am at right now. If you want to have a successful Airbnb business, you need to do the complete opposite of what I did. You need to find a mentor. You need to be able to negotiate your price as well. And then you need to automate as much as possible, as soon as possible. And you will have the keys to success. That's all you need, really, from the basics. That is what you need to be able to run a successful Airbnb business. I am on my way there. I can promise you that, now that I have figured some stuff out. I got a mentor, and it's just, I'm really excited for where things are going for me and my business. So I hope, if you're interested in running an Airbnb business, I will have a link in the description for you it helps you become a host. I can kind of help you with setup stuff. Yeah, that's really it. Airbnb, people think it's way too oversaturated, but I can't remember. There's a statistic out there that Airbnb posted, said they would need like 7 million hosts to be able to cover the demand for it all. So there's still a lot of room for opportunity out there. So if you're on the fence about it, let's talk about it. I can answer as many questions as possible. Send me a DM, message me, and I will get back to you. But thank you guys for watching today. If you liked this video and found it helpful, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps my channel, helps me to grow and get this out to as many people as possible. And subscribe and share it with your friends, family, anybody that you think might be interested. Just do me a solid on that. But thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.